been the best Christmas I could ever have, actually, knowing I have a mom and dad.
She was being very nice, and so I wanted to be her friend.
They're slowly turning the dime. They're learning, they're getting better in school.
No matter if the odds are not in your favor, and no matter what people think, just keep fighting, because there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Good evening and Merry Christmas. Welcome to this Good News Special. I'm Craig O'Neill, and you have found a holiday tradition here on TV11. We love to take a look at the past year and tell you again about the good news stories that occurred. And it was quite a list because you Arkansans did quite a number of good things. In many cases, it represents some tough choices we had to make, except for the first story, because it involves a miracle that began in Pottsville and wound up in Baltimore. It's told by Erica Ferrando and photojournalist Bree Conyers.
Miracles happen every day.
1,000 miles from home in Baltimore, Maryland.
You just stay down and go side to side.
Something as simple as a ball toss for this high school athlete.
Gotta keep going.
Now means more than ever.
I thought my life was over.
June 15th, 2018, 17-year-old Drake Manus dove into a swimming pool at his girlfriend's like he had countless times before.
He wasn't moving his legs, his arms, and so I was like, okay, something's really wrong. So I dove in and I grabbed him and I had him like a baby, and he instantly spit out water and looked at me and was like, "Sydney, I'm paralyzed, please don't let me die."
When I hit the bottom, I just immediately knew I was paralyzed.
And that was really the first thing I told him in the ambulance. Start praying, Drake, right now, and you're gonna be all right.
Airlifted to Arkansas Children's, Drake suffered a broken neck and spinal cord injury. It was a freak accident. Doctors delivering the news to his parents he'd never walk again.
We've got to get him into surgery right now, and Drake's probably never gonna move the neck down. And I pretty much lost it at that point. I just hit my knees.
It was hard. It was really hard. And you're just scared.
But hoping for a chance at recovery, the Manus family came to the Kennedy Krieger Institute in Baltimore.
You didn't give up.
No.
Go deeper, go deeper. Come on, go push.
When he got here,
He couldn't stand on his own.
We were basically holding him, pushing him into a chair.
he began 6 hours of therapy every day, still with an uncertain future.
It was catastrophic and thought to be permanent paralysis.
Dr. Suzanne Rupczynski, head of inpatient rehabilitation, remained optimistic.
You really can't tell what is going on in the spine until you start moving and trying to start recovery.
But not even she could have expected this.
Yeah, come here.
He far exceeded our expectations.
Nearly 2 months after the accident,
I knew he would the whole time.
he was back on his feet, taking major steps.
He was like, "Are we really gonna do this?" And we had 2 people with us, and he needed lots of support, but he did it.
Their steps his medical team couldn't have predicted.
No, to be honest with you, I didn't, because with that type of injury that Drake had, usually people don't progress this quickly.
But steps this family had been praying for.
Just faith. We just prayed every day and kept our faith.
It's all God.
Yep, without a doubt, it's God.
His medical team crediting how his injury was immediately handled.
They held that neck stable.
His girlfriend, her family, and paramedics floated him in the water.
That could be the difference in them walking again or not.
Through faith and determination, Drake showed progress every day.
Just seeing a little toe wiggle would brighten everyone's day, and then now he gets up and dances.
Since walking wasn't enough.
You gotta get faster.
4 months after the accident, he's showing progress even through the Kiki Challenge.
Drake just has that natural charisma to him, and he's always had that. I would say maybe it's stronger now.
Watching the recovery before our eyes.
It just amazes everybody.
He has a very strong will, and he's a very healthy fit, strong guy, and I think that helped him greatly.
Steps that can't be justified.
I can't explain it.
Are explained by this family as intervention from above.
Not just prayers to fix things spiritually, but God gave the doctors the brain that they have to work on Drake, and the nurses that he's had to treat him, and us the ability to make decisions to get him to the best place for the care that he needed.
He's a walking miracle. For him to be where he's at now, it's amazing.
Kennedy Krieger Institute here in Baltimore has been Drake's home for the past 3 months. Now, after so much progress, he's ready to continue recovery back home in Arkansas.
His tracheostomy and airway will require more surgery back home.
I'm ready for it, but it's also scary. It's just weird going to be home with the trach and then going back to school. It's been so long.
Now as he walks out of the Ronald McDonald house that's been his family's home for 3 months and gets ready to go back to school in Pottsville,
we're going to try to.
He rings the good news bell. This walking miracle is good news indeed.
He's one of those patients I'll never forget.
Drake is now trach-free. He's back in Pottsville, he's driving again, and for those reasons you gotta believe he and his family had one of their best Christmases ever, because he represents a miracle. Next, we go inside the boxing ring, where the sport is changing lives in Pine Bluff. The city of Pine Bluff has been working for years to change its image. There have been some rough spots along the way, but there are mentors and coaches who are steering young people in the right direction. And tonight, Hayden Balgavy has the story of redemption in the ring.
Pine Bluff has been renamed Crime Bluff, and we're trying to change that image right there.
In the heart of this city, you can find a man with no bigger heart than Albert Brewer.
It's just one of my passions that I like doing.
The idea of this program is simple.
Yes, there's a lot of aggression in the streets, but now they get a chance to come in here, and our program, they get a chance to challenge it into something positive. When you hit that bat, and when you come back, you bring it right back there.
Brewer and Coach Tobias Rogers train and mentor kids during the week, and not just with crosses and jabs.
We have some students that started out at first, they probably were like the riffraffs of what's going on. But right now, they're slowly turning the dime. They're learning, they're getting better in school, they're progressing.
17-year-old Al Stokes is one of the group's best and up-and-coming boxers.
One, two, one.
But just 5 months ago, he was far from this ring.
I was fighting in the street fights a lot, and so they my friends used to tell me to come to boxing. So I just thought about it, and my uncles and all of them used to box. They was telling me to come to boxing, and I used to work out with them a little bit. So I just thought about it and just came to boxing. I loved it.
Al is becoming one of the best young boxers here in the state, but he may not even be the best fighter in his own gym.
Some was easy, some was a competition to me, but I did what I had to do.
15-year-old Aisha Green is a perfect 5-0 in competition so far and has no plans of slowing down.
You keep me out the streets, fighting a lot, keep me focused on school. I'm gonna go to college for boxing.
The reason why kids join gangs, they're trying to fit in. They're trying to find themselves a place to belong. But they come in here and you look around, you see kids smiling, and I don't know, I just get an overwhelming feeling, because they could choose to do something else.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
It'll mean everything to me for me to make it.
As it is in heaven, give us this day our daily bread.
This is just what I do. Box. This is the only thing I do.
And lead us not.
These kids are our future right here. They are our future. And you can rest assured, they are our future boxers of Arkansas too.
G&G! G&G!
Albert Brewer continues to help young people in Pine Bluff. If you would like to learn more about Gloves Not Guns and to know how you can help, reach out on Facebook. Up next, a little girl's dream changes course when she meets a forever friend. This next story is about two little girls, a lemonade stand, and a pony. Our friend Caitlin Gardenhire tells us Sosie's story.
From strangers to families to friends, they all chipped in for this little girl that they knew, raising money for a little girl that none of them really knew.
7-year-old Sosie Dornan has been in and out of the hospital her whole life.
We come into having some kidney issues and some skin issues, and it all was related to an autoimmune type thing.
She spends a lot of her time at Arkansas Children's Hospital.
While we were there, Arkansas Children's Hospital has this amazing program where they can help, try to keep kids not just physically well, but emotionally well, like with play therapy and keeping them academically on course.
That's where Sosie met 3-year-old Lily Johnson, who also spends her days at ACH, battling Ewing sarcoma, a rare bone cancer.
She was being very nice, and so I wanted to be her friend. And she said, okay, and then we were friends.
They were just all smiles and giggles, and it was like they weren't even in a hospital. It was just two kids having fun and the way it should have been.
Sosie has a dream of owning a pony and set out to raise the money. But after she met Lily, her plans changed.
I said, Mama, I don't want to raise money for a pony. And she said, what do you want to raise money for then? And then I said, I want to raise money for Lily.
Sosie set up a lemonade stand on Highway 64 Galore for 3 days.
Lemonade from the store, and we put sugar in it.
Nice. So it was really good, probably. Okay.
And the rest is a secret.
Local law enforcement, the fire department, and community members showed up to support, helping Sosie raise a total of $550. But she's not stopping there.
She's trying to decide where she's going to set up next and who she's going to raise money for. And eventually she does want to raise money for a pony, but right now she's saying that she wants to help one more friend first.
And Sosie has one thing to say to everyone that donated.
Thank you very much.
Inspired by Sosie's story, someone reached out to her family and gave her the pony of her dreams, including riding gear and a saddle. Up next, another remarkable young Arkansan, this one making history in the NCAA. Fans and athletes will tell you that sports is far more than wins and losses. It can change lives. It can change the world. Melissa Zigowitz introduces you to one player who's making history both on and off the court.
That little orange ball that's bouncing, it takes you a lot of places.
Basketball is more than just a game.
Basketball was like the key.
Because for 18-year-old Kalen Bennett,
the ball never lied.
Basketball changed his life.
I can communicate. Like if I feel bad, I can just get it out, use it as an outlet.
This 6'10" center is preparing to move 900 miles away to not only play the sport he loves, but to be an inspiration to people like him.
I'm not trying to sound cocky, but I knew in my heart I can be one day.
Bennett was born with autism. Doctors telling his parents he might not ever utter a word.
Never, ever give up.
But this week, he defied all of the odds against him as he becomes the first autistic athlete ever to receive a full-ride D1 scholarship.
Crazy. My mom, she pretty much knew before I did, but I didn't believe her at first.
He's a phenomenal player. He's strong. He's a great rebounder.
Link-Year head coach Adam Danye says Bennett is full of raw potential.
He's going to make an impact at Division I level.
And as good as he is on the court, Danye says he's an even better young man off of it.
Well, he radiates when he walks into a room. He lights up, and every person he encounters makes them feel better about themselves.
Bennett says it's his support system that got him to where he is today.
Great mother, great father, just my family.
And while the Arkansas native is preparing to play with the Kent State basketball team in Ohio next fall,
I just can't wait to get there.
He says he's ready to tackle any obstacle that comes his way.
No matter if the odds is not in your favor, and no matter what people think, just keep fighting because there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Since Kalen's story aired here on THV 11, it has been seen on CBS Evening News, on ESPN, and it has been shared around the world. And we cannot wait to see where Kalen's basketball career takes him next. We've got one more story to share tonight of a home overflowing with love. The saying goes, home is where the heart is. And for one Arkansas family, their hearts have grown exponentially ever since they took a huge leap of faith. THV 11's Jordan Howington has their story.
Our first words were, okay, we'll do it for a couple years, but we're not going to adopt.
These were Terry and Michael Hawthorne's words when they chose to become foster parents. Now they laugh, saying they ate their words. In April, the couple adopted a set of 2 siblings, Corgan and Hazley. And days ago, they added 7 more to the mix.
It feels good to actually have a family to wake up to every morning.
A set of 7 siblings who wants to share their story with you.
Like, we never had anything like this.
To these kids, life means the little things.
I was like, oh my gosh, you get a bed!
Something they never had before.
We had like 1 bed in the room and most of us slept on the floor.
Coming from a life at an early age, having to defend for themselves.
The times we got to eat was either when the neighbors snuck us a bag of chips.
They'd turn to canned food.
We didn't really have a can opener, and they'd give us the cans that we didn't know how to open.
So many times, they went without, praying every day they'd find a set of parents to give them love.
These kids did not ask to come to foster care. They did not ask to go to 4 or 5 different homes, 4 or 5 different schools.
After years of fighting, on December 3rd, the Hawthornes officially adopted the 7 kids. And today, they showed off all their rooms and favorite toys, and told me what they look forward to the most.
Having food on my plate and not anything with bugs all in it.
They all have aspirations to become successful, from being a gymnast to becoming a country singer. The Hawthornes say there's one thing for sure.
They don't have the worry of being taken away.
I have something. Mom, Dad, I love you guys. And I wouldn't change it for the world. This has been the best Christmas I could ever have, actually, knowing I have a mom and dad.
And you need to know that that story is what this Good News special is all about. Togetherness and love. We love telling these good news stories on THV 11. It's a privilege for us. It's why we're looking ahead to 2019, because we know we'll have more good stories to tell. Thank you for watching. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, good night, and good news.